Welcome to the Global Peace Film Festival Lives Online Conversation 2021 Festival Edition. Please join me, Kelly Devine, the Artistic Director, and Nina Strike, the Executive Director, in conversation with Cimela Kidonakis and Jessi Hannapel behind the film Love Reaches Everywhere, which can be seen at the upcoming Global Peace Film Festival as part of our in-person screenings, which begin September the 21st and end September the 26th, and also as a part of our virtual screenings, which begin September 27th and end October 3rd. All of the information regarding our programming can be found on peacefilmfest.org. And now, please welcome Cimela and Jessi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, Cimela and Jessi. It's great to be with you. So let's start out. Tell us about the film, Love Reaches Everywhere.
So we learned about Mary's Meals probably around 2015, and there was this giant youth festival in Bosnia-Herzegovina in a small village called Medjugorje, and Magnus, the founder, went up and was talking about the charity. And so we just fell in love with it. It feeds children all over the world, and we loved meeting the founder, and he was just amazing speaking about it. And so that's when we first heard about it. And our co-filmmaker, Sean, he is really good friends with the founder. Over years, he's become very good friends. And so he reached out to us and said, we're going to go and make a film and show what's happening in Mary's Meals in Haiti. And we're going to take somebody you might know with us. And so it just happened to be someone that we grew up watching movies about. And his name is Gerard Butler. So he also was on the journey with us. And that was really interesting to be a part of something like that.
It is a fascinating journey that Gerard takes. And I was privileged, obviously, to see the film, but I think what people will really be delighted at is how you capture his own journey in learning more about his mother's favorite charity, which I think is delightful. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach to telling this type of story and why it's so important to you?
Yeah, so it so happened that Gerard Butler's mom was very, just loved the charity Mary's Meals. It's something very big all over the world, but especially in Scotland because the founder's from Scotland. And so the mom had been telling Gerard Butler about, you need to get involved with this charity. It's amazing. And it just so happened that he had to present at the CNN Awards an award. So they picked Gerard Butler to present to Magnus, who is his fellow Scotsman. And so they immediately became very quick friends. And it's so cool because Gerard Butler was like, can I take a selfie with you, to Magnus, the founder, instead of it being the other way around. But he just was so inspired by the charity and already knew about it from his mom. And we happened to be in Scotland for some different project. And then we were like, how far away is Gerard Butler's mom from here? And we looked it up and it was super close. So we actually just popped in, and we just had tea with his mom, and we had banana bread. His aunt had made us, and so we just hung out with his mom and his aunt, and we did a little interview because she's a big part of the story as well. So when you watch the movie, you can see in her house she has like pictures of Gerard Butler and from him growing up. And then what was the one thing that was funny?
One of my favorite behind the scenes stories was that she had an autographed picture of him. And he said, if you ever ask me to autograph, never ask for me to autograph a picture for you again.
Yes. So they were very cute. And it was really nice to meet his mom. And she just is always saying beautiful things about her son and how he wants to help. And that's what we saw in this movie, because he's so busy with everything going on, with work, with producing. But he actually took time out of his busy schedule to really help people to learn about this charity that he loves so much. And so him and Magnus had gone to Liberia before. And so this trip was really specific, was Haiti. And none of us had ever really experienced that what's going on there. And there was a lot of rioting, a lot of when you're driving, when they put fire. And so it was kind of dangerous when we went, but we all were so happy to meet the kids, and the kids were going to school. And so we were like, how can we be nervous here? Like, the kids go to school every day and they're so happy to receive a meal. And this is, for many, the one meal they get a day. And as soon as the meal is given to them, they're like so joyful and happy. It's a charity that it's our favorite charity that we like feel so close to, and that anytime there's something we can fundraise or anything like that, we always choose Mary's Meals because we've seen it in action. And it's just the most simple charity, but it's the most powerful one that we've actually witnessed.
We feel like the more you learn about it, the more you really want to support it, which I think you kind of see through the film. Is the more you learn about it, the more inspired by it you are. And it really is a very simple mission. It's feeding kids and getting them to school. And like every down to the last detail, like the end goal is to get these kids educated so that they can make their own communities better and like continue to make the world better. And all these kids do, they want to go to school and then they want to learn skills that can help them make their communities better. That's what you hear from these kids. And so as hard as it is, this thing these kids are struggling with, this hunger they're struggling with, I think our approach to the film was a lot of the approach that Mary's Meals has, which is hope and like the joy of seeing into the future and what these kids can do. So we wanted to bring that same joy to this project and focusing on that and the hope that these kids really bring to the world.
Well, I think you did a marvelous job of capturing that joyfulness. But I also, in hearing you talk about the approach and the discovery of the story, it seems as though there were a lot of kind of happy accidents that led up to, the choosing Gerard Butler to give the award and all these things. So can you talk about any surprises or things that you learned as a part of this process?
Yes, it is. It's so beautiful to see all the little steps that happened for this thing. And I think one of the main things was that when we were on the last day, we were trying to go to the non-feeding school, and we had already seen the kids being fed, but there are so many schools there that don't have Mary's Meals yet. And the president had just stepped down, like, from Haiti. And so everything was riots and riots. And they were like, we got to get you guys out of here. Like, it's not safe. And we really need to go home, like, right now. And I remember we were all outside of the car just like talking about this. And Gerard was like, no, we need to see this through. Like, I need to meet the kids who haven't gotten a meal yet. And so we ended up going to the school and like sticking to the days of filming. And that's a big part of our movie. And I thought it was so beautiful that we just visited this school, and the principal was talking to Gerard Butler, but we all were like, man, immediately we're like, we need to get these kids, part of the program. Like, we need to do this. But I thought it was beautiful that in that moment, Gerard Butler felt like he needed to help with getting the kids fed in this school. And I feel like there's a lot of little moments like that where we just were so inspired and meeting the right people or getting connected. And on the way home, in order to keep us safe, all they told us was wear a Mary's Meal shirt, because no matter what, if they stop you and there's rioting, if you have a Mary's Meal shirt, you're safe, because you're feeding their kids. And so that was really powerful to me, was just to know that because we were part of this, nothing can stop the kids from being fed, because on both sides, whatever riots there are or not, they all love Mary's Meals. They all know that it's helping their communities. So there was a lot of special moments like that, for sure.
And Jessi, did you want to add anything?
I mean, I would just say, like, there were like these special happy moments. There were also these really like intense surprises as well. Like, for example, what year was it that you went to Haiti? It was 2017.
Yes.
And Gerard Butler's house had actually just burned down in LA. Like, it was during the fires. So, I mean, there were all these like really intense personal moments for him that he was processing and dealing with. And he still was willing to put that aside and come out. And I think it made him almost more open to hearing these really, really hard stories and really connecting with the people even on a deeper level. And I think learning from them as well, you know, all these mothers, the mother that said she has no fear and because she trusts in God, I think it really, he felt it so deeply because he was, you know, feeling all of this on a deeper level as well.
Yes, and it happened to be, this is just by chance because things kept being pushed forward, that we traveled during Thanksgiving. And so like everyone in America that we know, all of our friends, like everybody was getting excited for this huge meal that they were going to eat. And we were on this other side of the world, like just seeing like just this completely different thing, but how exciting it was for the kids to receive a meal. Like it's such a simple meal, yet this even a deeper joy, because I mean, they just look forward to that, and just their eyes, and you can see it in the movie. I mean, there are so many times where when we were editing, I freeze frame like these cute kids like faces just sparkling like when the food was laid right in front of them. So it was nice to see, to go to have Thanksgiving there with them.
Oh, what a lovely thought, and what a lovely way to remember the importance of that communal meal.
Yeah.
And it will make me think, as we're approaching Thanksgiving ourselves, here we are talking in September, that is something that I think I will definitely acknowledge in my own Thanksgiving celebration. So thank you, Cimela, for that image. And that also brings me to the core mission of the festival, and why we were so eager to program your film is that we want to bring models and ideas to our audience that they can take back into their own lives, into their own communities, to make their their own homes, their own families, their own communities more peaceful, more just places. And so if you could talk a little bit, I know you have already to some degree, but if you could just kind of underline that one of the things that I think you capture so beautifully in your film is that there can be action taken to improve the lives of our fellow beings on this planet.
Yes, that's my favorite thing about Mary's Meals, is the community aspect of it. And just telling people about Mary's Meals in your community and saying we can do something. And that's, we're inspired by one, especially one American, Ellen Miller, who's in where is she?
Des Moines.
Des Moines, yes. And she always rallies together. She does 5Ks, she does concerts, she makes t-shirts, and they're the coolest t-shirts. It just says like feed kids and love reaches everywhere. That inspired, one of her t-shirts inspired the title of the movie. But yeah, so it's, and even for myself, like on my birthday, I'll put it on Facebook, like this is where I want everything, if you want to give something, like give to this charity. But yeah, it's all about like we can make a difference. And when you think about it, it's around $20 that feeds a child for an entire school year. Like just one, sometimes we go out and we spend $20 on one meal, but that $20 can feed them for an entire school year. So a lot of times schools will get together and they'll do a fundraiser and they'll sponsor a school in another country. And I think that's what's cool, is when those kids learn that they can do something like that, and they can sponsor someone who's their same age range. So that's something that it makes it very possible, especially because Mary's Meals has an amazing, a lot of people who work there are very active, and you can just reach out to them on the American side and they will help you. If you want to be a part of it, it's so easy to get involved. You just reach out and they'll give you different ideas or how to do it. But I love the action part, because you learn about all these things happening in the world, and if there's no easy action item, you quickly can forget about it. But with Mary's Meals, it's just like, these are a million actions you can do. And it's like so many things, buy a book, all the proceeds of the books that Magnus writes, 100% of the proceeds helps Mary's Meals.
He's written 2 books.
Yeah.
They're both fantastic.
Yeah, so Jessi loves them. But I mean, like, you read a book and the proceeds from that book are gonna feed a child for an entire year. So there's just so many action items. That's what I love about it. You come away knowing like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. And it's as simple as on your birthday of Facebook, just saying like, I want to donate to this charity.
I think the other side of it too, for me, is being inspired by all of the people that volunteer for Mary's Meals. Because most of the people that do work for Mary's Meals are volunteers, and that includes people in the communities where they're feeding their own children at schools. All of the mothers and people in the villages, they put the food together, they cook the food for free and serve it to, they're all volunteers, and they serve it to their kids. So again, just that reminder of like, you know, instilling that in your community. It's so inspiring that those communities are banding together to help their own, and remembering to bring that back home to your own community too as well, I think is good.
Yes, and there was another really cool quote that Jessi and I were talking about when she read the book Give, which is the new book about Mary's Meals, but it was about just the art of giving, like just what giving means to what was it again? It was just really beautiful to think about how the philosophy of giving itself and what it does to us, like it's part of who we are. And it's actually something that gives back to us. Like when we give, it like feeds our soul more than maybe what we give.
So those are all wonderful suggestions of things that people can do and how important it is to have those ideas. We, you know, with the Global Peace Film Festival, we always want our audiences to not just see something that inspires them, but be able to do something about what inspires them. What in the film that they've just seen. So thank you for that. Is there anything else you want to add to what people can do to support your work? And also tell us what's next for the two of you.
Yes, I think the biggest thing is that there's this film, Love Reaches Everywhere, and it's a short film. And I think if you like it, like please try to share it with people, because it really does tell, you know, what the charity is like, but through the journey, through seeing it through Gerard Butler's eyes. So in a way, you follow him on this journey. So I do think that like sharing the film will really help more people know about it. And so please share it. And thank you for watching it.
And just letting people know about Mary's Meals. It's actually very interesting to me because the founder is from Scotland, and really all over England, all over the UK, Mary's Meals is a household name. Everyone knows about it. And it is surprising to me because I really wish that we could bring that really globally, but definitely to, as Americans, we wish we could bring that to America, that Mary's Meals could be a household name, just a charity that everyone knows about. And, you know, even if you can, that's what's so amazing is if you can just give a little bit, it helps so much. So just to know about it, even if you can't give, to tell your friends about it, and just really make it that household name here and tell people what the amazing work that they do.
Yes, for sure. But yes, we love Mary's Meals so much. Like it is our favorite charity. That we know there's a million charities out there, but we love Mary's Meals. We die, all our money's going there. But yes, we love it so much. And right now we do a lot of work in Bosnia-Herzegovina. And so we love the title of your film festival. It's about peace. And so our movies we really do try to, like Jessi said, to bring hope to people with the stories that we share. And so there's a small village in Bosnia-Herzegovina called Medjugorje, and that's, you know, often they say Mary's Meals is a fruit of that place. And it's a very special place. If you've never heard of it, you can look it up. But so our movie that we're working on now is a documentary that's based in Medjugorje, and it's where people travel all over the world to get some peace, and it's just a beautiful place. So that's kind of what we're working on next. The movie's called Cross Mountain, and it's a 6-year project. So we've been working on it for a while, but we would love to do something else in the future with Mary's Meals. And if Gerard Butler wants to go visit another school, we'll be there with our camera. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for letting us know all of these interesting projects to track. Cimela and Jessi, it's been wonderful speaking with you, and we really appreciate your work and sharing it with our audiences. And we encourage everyone who has listened to this interview to please check out Love Reaches Everywhere. Certainly you can see it as a part of the Global Peace Film Festival. The in-person screenings begin September 21st through September 26th. The virtual access begins September 27th through October 3rd. All the information about the screenings can be found at peacefilmfest.org. And if you would like to know more information directly about Mary's Meals, please visit marysmeals.org. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next Glow.